Good evening, guys. Welcome to a special edition of Face to Face. Tonight is got an international flavour, as I'm very pleased to be joined by two members of Hearts and Hand Grenades from New York.
Hello.
Oh, thanks for having us.
So, just for everyone watching, who do we have?
I am Steph Blozinski.
And I'm Mike Bress.
So, how did you guys actually form?
Oh man. So for many years we've played in the cover music scene in Buffalo, and we all just sort of met each other mutually through that. And that sort of got to a point where we wanted to start writing our own music and doing our own original thing. So Mike and I kind of started that, and then we sort of sniped out Kenny through mutual contacts. And then it just sort of became a thing from there, and we all, were like-minded in the type of music we wanted to play, and it just worked out great.
So
who inspired you musically?
Me being a little bit of an older guy, I was around when the, in the 80s with the Sunset Strip in California was, going strong with Motley Crue and Metallica, and, those bands were coming up. So, we got a lot of our musical influences from bands like them, and the AC/DC and moving forward. And, now, the bands today, it's more Korn and Slipknot and System of a Down and that type of stuff. And, you can kind of, get, some of those flavors in our music when we put out songs and whatnot. There's those types of influences in there.
Yeah, and I really like the 90s alternative style of music. And I think if you ask that question to each band member, you'll get a little bit different of an answer, which has been great for us creating the songs that we've made, because I think you can kind of grab those influences, in each song. You've got like something a little bit different.
So talk to me about Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah, so we that's just really how this band actually got started in the first place. We were playing a cover show at a telethon, and we were right before the Goo Goo Dolls went on, so they were in the room when we played, and we were in the room when they played. Right after we got done, we just kind of went down to the bar and had a couple of drinks and whatnot, and Robbie from the Goo Goo Dolls came down after their set and asked where we do all of our recording. And we didn't do any recording. We were just in a cover band. We didn't have any original music, and he refused to allow that to be possible. So he just said, get your butts down to my studio, and then we're gonna record some stuff. And we ended up doing that, and here we are, today, just we're already working on our third album in 4 years.
Yep.
So.
Okay, added question here. How does the cover of Human go down?
Oh, Human? That was all Mike, really.
Yeah, so our record label Eclipse was, he kept insisting that we need to do a cover song of something and just kind of revamp it, do your own thing with it, and just take a cover song. And we were tossing around probably for a year what song we're gonna do. But I didn't want to do something that 50 other bands already did, because you're just kicking a dead horse around at that point. So I waited and just kept looking around, and then I just happened to hear that song "Human" in a movie, and I'm like, well, that one might be kind of cool to do. And then I looked it up, and I didn't really see hardly anybody try to do a cover of that. So we gave it a shot, and I think it turned out quite well.
Yeah, after a gentle nudge from the record label, we landed on that one.
Yeah.
So did I read right that you actually started as a cover band?
Yeah, all the way back in 2012, we were we were doing nothing but cover music all the way up until 2019 when we started Hearts and Hand Grenades. So,
was it difficult to transition as? Was it difficult to transition to being an original band?
I don't think so. I mean, at least locally, you're so used to seeing the same faces. You get a following, you see the same people out. So I don't think we had that anything weird when we started writing our own music. We were excited to play for those people that have seen us before. Doing the cover gigs. So at that point, it was more, we were more excited to share that with people that, hey, we're making this jump from playing other people's music to, here's our own music. And, you always have that when you first start out, you hope everybody likes it, and you're eager to see, how the response is on it. And it was really well received. I mean, we got a lot of positive feedback, and I think that was just encouraging, for us to keep going.
So, how would you say your sound's evolved?
I think it depends on what song we were looking at, because we have this knack not to make every song sound the same. Like some bands, their album has like a sound and it's just the sound throughout every song. We don't like to do that. We like to try to mix things up. We want to be hard rock on this one, heavier on this one. We do a little punk feel on this one. And I think doing that, it's just allowed us to grow musically, so we can take the influences that we have just, from the bands we liked growing up, and we can incorporate that into our songs. So I think from album to album to now this third one that we're working on, I think it's tangible growth. Like for us, we can see what we've learned along the way. We know what works and what didn't work quite as well, so we're learning from that. So I think, as much as I'd like to say, like, we're finding our sound, I don't think we're ever going to land on a specific sound, so we're always evolving. So I guess that's where we've gone, and that's where we want to keep going.
Sorry, I thought I cut you off there. So, right, talking about COVID, I heard that that hit you guys pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, everything stopped. There were no gigs to play. There was nowhere to go, nothing to do. But I think that is what got us to release 2 albums basically in 1 year. We had nothing to do but keep working on music at home, so I won't call it a blessing in disguise, because it wasn't by any means. But, it allowed us to have that downtime to really focus on the music and writing. And I think we just took advantage of it as best we could.
Because am I right in thinking that you were right in the middle of working on an album?
Right now, yes.
That is correct.
Yeah.
In fact, we're actually this Friday we're going to be heading to the recording studio and laying down the first 4 songs off the new album. So we're here.
So, okay. Have you got any funny stories from shows or road trips?
Yeah.
It depends. It depends. Yeah, I mean, I have a funny story about Mike splitting his pants at a gig. He had to duct tape them back together because it happened right before we had to start playing. Let's just say the duct tape was in a very unfortunate area of his pants, and he made it through hours of playing in one piece.
Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah, I ripped my pants from the spot where you buckle them in the front all the way to the top of my ass in the back. I mean, the entire thing was ripped wide open. And, I had to do an entire show with my pants like that. And duct tape was the only thing that we had to keep them together. And, the tape kept getting stuck to more than just the pants. So it was very uncomfortable for a couple hours.
But he made it.
Yeah.
So, what's the creative process for you guys?
You go.
Oh, okay, great, thanks.
My version's different than yours.
Nah, it's pretty much the same. I mean, typically, you know, it usually will start with some kind of guitar riff, which it's I'm the rhythm guy, so it usually starts with me, and we'll toss around a few ideas, and then once we land on something that we like, then we'll add Steph's bass parts in there, and after that we have we'll get Kenny's lead guitar parts, and then after all that stuff's kind of put together in advance, then we do the lyrics for it. We're not one of those bands that comes up with lyrics first and then makes a song to those lyrics. We make the song first and then do the lyrics to the song in that kind of sequence. And then typically, drums are the absolute last thing we always do to get like the last feel of the song in there in the end. And once all that stuff comes together, I mean, we have our songs. So
what does downtime look like for you guys?
Oh man, what downtime?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we're always either rehearsing, writing, working on something new. Now we're preparing for the UK tour, so that's taken up quite a bit of time. But we're always trying to keep busy doing something musically. So if we get to the point where we've finished, a song or an album, we usually don't wait that long before we start thinking about, like, let's put together the live show. Which songs do we want to pull off of which album? Hey, I have an idea. Let's write another song. So we're always busy. We always try to keep doing something productive.
So you mentioned about the tour. That leads nicely on to the last question. How did it actually come about bringing White Raven down and Adam and the Hellcats on tour?
Yeah, so we about probably 2+ years ago, we joined that NWOCR group that's based in the UK, but they have bands that are from all over the world involved in that. And we put a message out there probably a year and a half ago, saying, hey, what's the interest in Hearts and Hand Grenades touring in the United Kingdom? And we got quite a few responses out of it. So we're like, okay, there's some interest in doing this, and we sent out some feelers, and we finally got in touch with Mark Christensen from Midnight Tornado Touring, and he he's actually the one who suggested bringing White Raven down and Adam and the Hellcats with us, and both of them are fantastic bands. On top of that, they're all fantastic people. And, we're looking so forward to meeting those guys and, touring around the UK with them and doing some shows with them. And their music's great, and it's just going to be a great fit for us. And, we're looking forward to playing with them.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Sorry.
Oh, I said it's going to be fun for sure.
Yeah. I've seen White Raven down a few times, and they're just pure energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's going to be a fantastic tour. So,
yep.
That's all the questions. So all I can say is thanks for joining me on Face to Face.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
And good luck for the tour.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ross.
Take care.
Take care.